I get your name and where you're from and who you work with?
Okay, I'm Kirsty. I work for the World Development Movement in the UK, and we're here to call for the World Bank to be out of climate finance. We have Robert Zalek here, who is the president of the World Bank, and we want to get him away from the COP because he has no legitimacy to be here. The people of the world do not want the World Bank involved in climate finance, and we're really concerned that the Green Climate Fund is going to become a greedy corporate fund. And it's going to channel money away from the people where it's vitally needed to help tackle climate change and to corporations who cause the problem instead.
What are some of the historical failings of the bank, or some things that one could point to show that the bank is an inappropriate partner?
Well, I guess primarily the World Bank is, sorry, I'll start again. So primarily the World Bank is one of the key causes of climate change. It's responsible for funding a huge amount of fossil fuel industry, both extraction and new coal-fired power stations. Namely in South Africa, they've just given one of the largest grants ever for a coal-fired power station for Medupi. So just on the basis of that, it has very little legitimacy to be involved in climate finance. But it's also got a terrible track record of bad development projects where it hasn't consulted the people, where it's displaced millions of people from their homes. It's been responsible for structural adjustment programs which have destroyed the economies of some of the poorest countries. And it's got very little democratic legitimacy in terms of involving the developing countries. It's really controlled by the rich countries who are using it as a way of pushing their own interests within the broader world, but also especially in the climate talks at the moment.
Do you see any hope for the GCF, or even if the World Bank were to pull out, do you think that there would be any hope to salvage a good agreement out of the GCF?
I think if we could get the World Bank to pull out of the Green Climate Fund, and if we could move the private sector window out of the Green Climate Fund, it could be a really useful thing. But at the moment, it really doesn't look that hopeful. It looks like the funds are all going to be going to the wrong place. However, it is something that we have been calling for, because funds do vitally need to flow from north to south. And so it is a really important thing, but the way that it's going at the moment is it's definitely acting in the interests of corporations and the rich world rather than people who really need it.
Thank you, Kirsty.